Welcome everyone to the second episode of Running with Friends. Before I introduce my special guest, I would first like to announce that a lot of people have been asking me about merch for the podcast, so I decided to partner up with my friend Leo, who runs for UNF. He has his own brand, Track and Friends, that he just started, and we'll be dropping some merch today. As soon as this episode drops, the merch will drop as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm dropping some Running with Friends merch, and he's dropping some more Track and Friends merch. So I hope you guys check it out and you guys enjoy it. So without further ado, my special guest today on the podcast is high school stud Ashley Klingenberg. Did I say that right?
Yes, Klingenberg.
Ashley Klingenberg ran for Lake Brantley High School and will be competing at the University of Florida next year. How you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's get right into it. So Ashley, if you guys don't know, Ashley was a great high school runner, but before she made it into the high school scene, she had a stellar middle school career. You know, you competed in multiple middle school state championships, competed in multiple USATF, National Junior Olympics, and stuff like that. How did races and competitions like of that caliber prepare you going into the high school level?
I would say running at a lot of high profile meets when I was younger really enabled me to really hone in on my work ethic. And I would say I definitely took the sport, I would say, a lot more serious than some other freshmen, just because I'd already freshman year, like I knew what I wanted, and I saw that like my goals weren't unattainable if I really worked hard for them. So I would say that was like the biggest thing I took from it.
That's good. That's what I like to hear. So obviously you go on to run at Lake Brantley High School. You had a stellar high school career, but off the gun, your freshman year was incredible. Like you just came out blazing and you progressed throughout your high school career from your freshman year all the way to your senior year. Obviously coming from a very stellar middle school career, how did you deal with having like big expectations, maybe like nerves going into high school just because everyone's like, oh, she's already like accomplished all these things in middle school. Like everyone's expecting you to like do all these big things in high school. How did you deal with big expectations going into high school?
I would say one of the things I did to kind of cope with a little bit of external pressure was I really, rather than trying to focus on like maybe performing at meets based on like placement, so like first, second, or third, I really focused on running a specific time. So I recall like my freshman year, my biggest goal, which I went into every race with this mindset, I wanted to break 5 in the mile. And it went from like my first meet, like I ran, I believe, a 5:12 my first mile my freshman year. And like from then on, like that's all I wanted to do. And it didn't matter what I placed in the race as long as I was getting closer to that goal. So I would say that really helped because it allowed me to understand like what I wanted out of my performance and not necessarily what everybody else wanted. So that was really helpful for me to like kind of relax when I went into races because I knew what I wanted at the end of the day.
So yeah, you know, sub 5 in the mile, I feel like it's something that every elite high school girl runner wants to accomplish. 1 second. Yeah, so every elite high school girl runner wants to break 5 in the mile. It's a huge goal. It's not something that's easy to do. So I want to share my screen real quick. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
And I want to play this clip, which this is from 2016 UF Relays, which was your freshman year, first time you broke 5. So let's watch it real quick. So there you go. That's UF Relays 2016 high school invite, the elite mile. Nadia Varela finished first. Sion Yared finished second. You finished third, right behind Sion Yared, running 4:56. Walk me through that race and what it meant to you to like finally break that barrier of 5 minutes.
So I remember the races leading up to this. I ran, I believe it was five flat. Not five flat. 5:01, like 5:02, and then I think it was a 5 flat. and then that was like it would just I ended up like breaking down the like closer and closer to the 5 minute barrier. And I remember being so frustrated at like my conference meet the week before, and I was like, I know I can break 5 because I ran, it was like 5 flat .8 or something, and like at that point like I knew I had the ability to do it. So I went into the Florida Relays race knowing that like I was just so excited for the opportunity. So I remember lining up, and I felt so sick to my stomach. I was so nervous. I almost cried. Like I was just so scared. But I remember starting the race, and I believe I was in the back for the majority of the race. I would say it's some of my more high profile meets. I do run from the back and then try to work my way up because I don't tend to go out too fast. And I just remember like going into my last lap, it was like I knew I had the chance to break 5. I think we went through, correct me if I'm wrong, but like around like I want to say 3:45, so about like a 1:15 we had to hit just to get around 5. And I just remember knowing like this is what I wanted all season, and like it was just the best opportunity to do it. Like it was one of the coolest meets in the state. I mean, it's a nighttime meet. I think everybody loves to run at night because you feel extra fast, and like just being able to share that opportunity with a lot of girls, it was just one of the most wonderful experiences. And then I remember going down the home stretch and seeing it was like 4:53, 4:54, and then finally crossing under 5. I like immediately ran to the staircase next to the track and I cried. I was just so excited. I saw my teammates, I saw my coaches, and I sobbed. And it was just so exciting for me because it was really, it just seemed like this biggest thing. And then once I hit it, like it honestly like opened up my like eyes to like so many more opportunities. Like I realized like I was capable of more than just that. So
Yeah,
it was the best.
absolutely. Absolutely. So obviously running sub 5 as a freshman definitely puts you on the map. Like at this point you're known across the state. Like you're definitely one of the top girls in the state. So, you go on that year, you run at the state meet, you run the 16 and the 800, you podium in both, which I mean you podium pretty much throughout your entire career. But for some reason your sophomore year you didn't run at the state meet. Why was that?
So I had a stress fracture in my fibula, which I thought was tendonitis all season. So I remember feeling some pain actually like my first meet of the season, so early February. And I ended up not running all my races at that meet. I ran 3 races instead of 4, and I iced and went home. And then it just seemed like the pain built up over time, but I really thought it was something to do with like my peroneal tendons because I'd had tendonitis in there before. And so I kept running on it, and then the days it would really hurt, I maybe like run a little bit less, or I'd ice when I got home. And then finally it got to about March, and I remember I took off like a week of practice after running. It was actually around spring break, after running all throughout spring break and doing some longer runs and stuff. And then I came back and I just could not run. Like I remember running on the infield at my school, and I like teared up because of how painful it was. So then at that point I was kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, like I might just have a really, really bad case of tendonitis. So I went to the doctor, and then we did an x-ray, and the x-ray came back fine, which typically happens when you have a stress fracture. It's hard to identify. And then I ended up a few weeks later getting an MRI. And then on the MRI, it did show the, I think it's like the gray area on your bone, which indicates that it was a stress fracture. And that was just like one of the hardest things, I guess, to cope with because I went into that season. I ended up PRing in the mile early in the season. And I did miss out on a few meets, and I really wanted to run with my teammates. And it just, it was hard because I wasn't able to go to practice every day. And like for a while, I didn't really know why I was in so much pain. So that was also a weird mentality to get with because I was thinking, I'm like, if it's just tendonitis, I can realize how extreme the pain was. And I was really just kind of trying to alter that in my mind. So I ended up not running at the state meet that year, but I was able to watch my awesome teammates run great. I remember my teammate, Kobe Hyde, I believe she placed 4th in the 800, 3rd or 4th in the 800. And that was honestly one of the best things to watch. It was great. And then I remember seeing Rafaela Gibbons win the mile, and that was just awesome because she was able to close out really well. And like, I remember it was kind of fun just playing spectator at the meet because I was able to just really watch everybody that I love and care about. And I think I was able to be even like a better teammate almost because I was able to listen to everybody without like having the stress of other races, and I was able to like, rather than everybody just being stressed together. So I honestly, it was a good season. I was definitely disappointed with how it ended, but I was happy to see everybody else excelling and everything. So that was just really rewarding.
Yeah, no, it definitely being on the sideline makes you appreciate like when you are able to race and when you are healthy, obviously. But then, I mean, you're very resilient. You dealt with your injury, and then you came back the following year, your junior year, and pulled off what I would say is a pretty impressive triple. I mean, finished sixth in the 32, third in the 800, and seventh in the 1600. Placed podium, medals in all three. My question is, why did you wait until your junior year to start running the 3200?
So initially, after my freshman year, I realized I was a little bit better at running track rather than cross country. So I assumed I would be a little bit better at the shorter distances. So I kind of just primarily focused on the 800 and the 1600 meter and like never really gave thought to the 3200 meter because I really wasn't the girl that was typically entered in that. It would be probably the 4x4 instead. And then we always ran the 4x8. So my junior year, I just really wanted to see like if I could run a time, especially for college, just so I could have a time to give out to college coaches. Because before then, I think it was in like eighth grade, I ended up running 2 miles like in the 13, 14 minutes. So I was like, I knew I was in better shape, so I really wanted to test my ability. And at the same time, I also thought it would be honestly kind of cool to see how many events I could run at the state meet. But I did realize like I wasn't Superwoman, and it is challenging as like a growing high school girl to run so many meets at the state meet. I'm sorry, so many events at the state meet. So I definitely did learn my lesson there, where I have to be realistic with my body and like push myself, but also know when to like taper back a little bit when it burns. As racing 4 times in like the span of like 2 days is extremely tiring. So, but it was a really good. Honestly, I really do enjoy that event. Like I would say at the state meet last year, my favorite event was the 3200 meter. I went into a relaxed mindset. I was like, I'm just going to take this race for fun because the next day I had the mile and the 4x8, I believe.
Yes.
And I just really wanted to make it fun. I was like, this is a nighttime meet. It had just started raining and everything. So, like, lap by lap, my goal was just to pick off a few people. And I ended up running my PR and then ended up like placing well. So, I was pretty happy with that. So, it honestly left a good mark on me because originally, like, districts and everything, we ran like at 9 in the morning and it was extremely hot. So, it was a
Yeah.
good change of pace.
So yeah, obviously you throughout your entire high school career, you placed, I mean, top 10, tops 8, which gets you medals and podium in either cross country or track, but you never got that elusive state title. But did you feel like maybe obviously the season got canceled this year, but did you feel like this year was like maybe the year where you were like, man, like this might be the year where I actually get that state title?
I definitely wanted to think that. I know, like, ever since always at the beginning of the season, I try to write down my goals and, like, I always put that down. Usually it's just a place better than the year prior or, like, at least PR and everything. But, of course, because I knew it was senior year, I really wanted that. So I put down, I was like, win states in the 1600 meter, the 800 meter, and I would probably be my best bet of between. Definitely, I did think I could do it. I know, like, towards the end with like how the season was going and everything, just because I know like we had less meets and then like practice just ended up, being on our own. I definitely then was like kind of having a little bit more reality check. I was like, okay, if the state meet happens, let's say like late July, then like I do have more time to train and like I definitely want to understand that. But at the same time, I also was faced with a decision of like, do I want to start training for college earlier so I have a better shot at like, running well in cross country and everything. So it became harder towards the end, but I definitely like starting out, like that is really what I wanted. Even since freshman year, like it's a good goal, even if you don't attain it. I think it was like something really far. I'm able to accomplish some things that I didn't expect. So, I mean, it's nice. I definitely like want to keep that kind of mentality going into college too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Setting goals like that, like just push you to like work harder and be better and like do the little things just because that's what it takes to get to that level. So back to talking about dealing with like big expectations and pressure. So obviously for those of you guys who don't know, she ran for Lake Brantley High School, which is also the same high school that St. Clair Johnson ran for. So obviously as St. Clair Johnson's leaving the high school scene, going into college, you're entering the high school scene. St. Clair won 5 state titles during her career at Lake Brantley, 3 in the 800, 2 in the 16. And then obviously you had a stellar middle school career, a stellar freshman year. Was there ever any point during your high school career where people like compared you to St. Clair, or were like, oh, like you're the next St. Clair? Or did you ever feel like that pressure that you had to like fill in those shoes that kind of St. Clair left behind?
I would definitely say I looked at it more as like I was super inspired by her and I still am. Definitely like one of the biggest role models I've ever had in my life. And it's so awesome because she's so accessible. Like I can text her and she replies back and it's wonderful. So I'd say definitely, I don't think I really felt any pressure. It was more of like, I want to be like you. Like, your work ethic. I admire your success, and I just like admired her just being a great person. So I would say in that sense, it was more like I just really, really appreciated having her to look up to. And it was like having like a mentor all the time, which was great. Like, like you walk onto the track at school and I'm like, like Sinclair was able to train here. Like she was able to perform so well and like end up getting state titles. It's like, like she set the standard for, I think, like what Lake Brantley track could become and like what it is today. So it's really exciting to have her like as like the legacy of the school.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, I mean, like you said, she was a stellar runner for Lake Brantley High School. You were a stellar runner for Lake Brantley High School. Like, you've both set incredible standards for like future generations at Lake Brantley and just in Central Florida in general. Like, I know a lot of girls look up to her. I'm sure a lot of girls will look up to you now that you enter the college scene. So, with that being said, like I said earlier, you committed to run at University of Florida, and honestly, you guys have a pretty stacked recruiting class coming in. I mean, Emma Solis, Parker, Steffi, who else? Lena, you. Like, you guys are pretty stacked. Like, talk to me about like coming in with all those Florida girls, what it means to you, and how excited you are for that.
So coming in with honestly like the best runners in the state, and I would argue the best runners in the nation, it's pretty awesome. I'm super excited to be able the most hardworking girl I think ever. So honestly, I've been really, really I've been so overwhelmed with like happiness just knowing I'm going to go in with like such a strong freshman class because I know like everyone will hold each other accountable and like I think that'll allow us all to perform to like the best of our ability, which I think is just a great thing to have, like especially in college with like other distractions and like a new environment. And like we have like like the state record holder coming in. We have so many girls that have broken 18 minutes in the 5K, and like if you look right now on Strava, like they're all crushing it on the long runs and everything. So it's super inspirational. Like I know like the days maybe where I feel a little bit less motivated, it's like nice to know I'm gonna have like all these girls like behind me, like ready to like push me forward and be like, hey, like you got this. So I'm really excited. It's gonna be nice to be able to learn from them and like have like such a good friendship. And I think also like because we have such a big recruiting class coming from just in state, it's going to be nice to see like how the Florida running culture is just going to move on to like the collegiate level as well. And like, I just think like there's nothing better than like being able to represent like the state of Florida and like all the wonderful high school running we've had. Like, especially like, for example, like you and your friends, you guys have such a good like friendship and like you always support each other across like various teams and everything. And I think like that's nice too, just because you're keeping like the happiness streak alive with everyone. So it's awesome. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, an incredible incoming freshman class, and that's joining an already pretty established team. I mean, UF girls made it to nationals 2 years ago in 2018. You have a coach like Chris Solinsky. I mean, one of the best American distance runners ever. I mean, no, I feel like there's not much to say about that. Like that's it. Like he's one of the best American distance runners. Like he knows his stuff. So like to have that group of girls join that already established team with that high profile coach, like I feel like you guys are definitely gonna do something special there in the next couple of years. So obviously, like you were highly recruited out of high school. You were recruited and you visited some pretty good schools. Like why did you choose UF?
So I chose UF because of a few things and also many things at the same time. So to shorten my list a little bit, it would be one, the coaching staff. They're absolutely wonderful. Everyone there has experience on the higher level. I mean, we have Coach Holloway who has experience coaching, I mean, like world champions. It's amazing. And he also he wants to produce the best athlete and person at the same time. So it's very respectable. And I really just appreciate how they all look at you as like a person beyond just an athlete. So they want to make sure you're doing okay. And they just want you to be a good person, be a runner. So that's wonderful. And then also Coach Solinsky, he's absolutely fantastic. And when I was on my visit, it was just wonderful to know that like I have such an inspiring coach and a coach that he's experienced it all. Like he's had the highs of high school running, the highs of college running, and the lows of both, and then also a wonderful professional career. And he's been the American record holder. I mean, you can't get much better than that, which is absolutely just the best thing. So I'm very grateful. And then also the school itself, I feel like we have honestly one of the best educational facilities in the world. I mean, I would say like it's awesome to be able to get both a great education and have great facilities and just like athletic programs and be surrounded with some of the best people. And I feel like that's a hard thing to match, but UF does it perfectly. I mean, they're able to check all the boxes and just, I know like I definitely either want to major in health sciences or computer science, and both of their departments and programs are fantastic. And then also just the people. I definitely like when I went on my visit, immediately like I sat there and I looked at my mom and I was like, I want to commit today. And it was like, I had to slow it down a little bit. I was just so excited, but I just had such a good time. And like, I know when people are like, oh, you get the feeling, like, I didn't believe anybody because I wasn't really having the feeling. And then I finally had it, and it just made everything so much easier. Like, I could see myself there as just a person, as a student. I mean,
Yeah.
as an athlete, it was just like the best fit. So I'm really excited, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity just to be
Yes.
like
It's
mentored
like
by some of the
when you go on
people.
your visit, like it's like it just clicks. Like you just know, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
like this is
it
the
did.
place. So obviously you're going to UF, you're joining your old teammate Chloe Hyde. How excited are you about that as well?
I'm super excited. She's one of my best friends ever, and like I definitely like I'm just super excited to be able to pursue like the same goals we had in high school, definitely into college and everything. And it's nice to go in with like automatically like already a super close friend, and like I can't wait. Like I know last year I was following all of her results and everything, and like especially seeing her success last season, and like under the training of Coach Slinsky and everything, she did absolutely fantastic. And like I only heard good things, so it was definitely helpful to have like someone on the inside just to also like guide me in that process. So
So what are you most excited about, and what are you most scared about when it comes to collegiate running?
I'm most excited truly for the team aspect. I definitely can't wait to have so many dedicated people like surrounding me and just having like those friends and everything. And I'm excited to find out who my roommates are. I don't know that just yet. And then I would say something I'm most nervous for would be probably adapting to the training and everything, and definitely getting up early. I'm a big morning person, but 5:30 is a little bit earlier than 6:30. So,
Oh
and
yeah.
especially every day. So I'm excited for that, but I know it'll take a little bit of like adjusting to everything, but I'm excited.
Yeah, no, of course. Every freshman goes through that adjustment process. I mean, I went through it when I went to FGCU. Like, it's it's a lot different from high school. Because I feel like once you get to college, like in high school, it's like, you're running, you're having fun. But like once you get to college, it's like it's more like a job. Like it's like you got recruited here to like compete at a high level. So like you gotta like take it more serious than you did in high school and stuff like that. But I feel like you're gonna do just fine.
Thank you.
So going into your freshman year, what are some of your goals?
So considering I'm gonna probably skip over cross country right now
Yeah, okay,
because I'm
that's
not sure
fair.
about that just yet. But looking at track, I definitely do. I want to run indoors and I want to run outdoors. And my goal for indoors would be, I would like to break my PR in the 800. So my goal would be like 209, and then have the chance. I think I want to run like I believe it's like the 1,000 they run indoors. I think
Yeah,
that'd be kind of a fun event to try out. And then I definitely want to score points for the team as much as I can and be able to run well. So I know those are kind of like general goals, but I definitely want to see how I adapt and everything. And then by the outdoor season, I would like to at least be able to be on like the travel team, at least like travel to other meets and everything. I'd prefer not to redshirt and just like be able to like develop into the I would like to from there try to PR more in the 800, and the 1500 meter PR from that. So I would like to run like a 4:30. That would be awesome. That'd be like ideal for me. So it's like
yeah.
a 4:50 mile, I guess.
Oh yeah, that would be an incredible time as a freshman, honestly. So outside of running, since we've been talking for about running for quite a while, what are some of your hobbies outside of running?
Cool. Okay. So some of my hobbies are I actually just I love to cook. I like fishing. I like to go hiking. My sister and I try to go to like a few different parks a week, and we'll like I mean travel like an hour away and then go there, and like that's pretty fun. And then I definitely do like reading a lot. I actually have been trying to learn to code all summer, so that's been like my biggest hobby, I guess. I've been trying to like learn different languages and stuff just to like get a head start on everything. And then other than that, like I just like to hang out with my friends and stuff, and that's always enjoyable. Listen to music.
Of course, of course. So before we end this, I want to do a little Q&A so the people can get to know you a little better. So basically, I'll just ask you a couple questions and then you just give me your answer. You ready?
Sounds good.
So favorite trainers to like run in.
New Balance 880s for sure. I've had so many pairs of those, and I think it's like the one shoe I've never gotten injured in. So I kind of stand by that. New Balance
That's
for
always
me.
good. Injuries, as long as you're not injured, it's a good trainer.
Yeah.
Favorite professional runner.
Ooh. Okay, so I'd say either Craig Engels, Jenny Simpson, or Colleen Quigley.
I like him. I like him. Favorite cross country course in Florida to race in?
Holloway Park, but I've
Hollywood
only done it
Park.
twice, and I love it.
Wow. People say that's one of the toughest courses in Florida.
I think it's fun.
I like it. All right, so favorite track to race in Florida.
University of Florida.
Okay, that's a good answer. Who would you say was your biggest high school rival?
Um, I'd say Chloe for that.
Uh,
I would say we definitely pushed each other, so that was always helpful.
oh, your favorite race, like distance wise,
The mile.
the mile.
Yeah.
All right, so favorite Netflix show.
Person of interest.
Favorite artist when it comes to music.
Oh, Harry Styles. 100%.
100%.
Or One Direction.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
Mm, I don't like when people are mean. I don't appreciate that.
You're like the nicest
Even
you're like
just
the nicest person in like the Florida running community, I swear.
Thank you.
What's your go-to restaurant?
Ooh, Noodles and Company. I love Noodles and Company.
I've never been. I'll have to check it out.
It's fantastic.
All right, so what's your go-to like drink, like beverage?
When I'm not running, probably Mountain Dew. When I am running, a Slurpee. So not much of a difference. But
And last question, do you prefer morning run or night run?
Ooh. I would say I prefer morning just because I like getting it done and having like the rest of the day to feel productive, and that's always a great feeling. But I would say maybe more during the summer. I do like nighttime runs just because like there's a nice sunset and like I I kind of like sleeping in, so it's been
Oh,
nice.
yeah, no, sleeping in is great, honestly, and like especially in Florida, like if you're gonna sleep in, you definitely have to wait till nighttime because even like if you run when like the sun's going down, like it's still so hot, like it's
Yeah.
insane. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me on my podcast. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
I wish you the best of luck with the rest of summer training. I wish you the best of luck in college. You already know, you have a fan in me, and I'll be watching. I hope you like my shirt. I wore it just for you.
I was gonna say something. I love it.
Florida Track and Field got this shirt from my good friend Jack Guyton. Shout out Jack Guyton for the shirt. But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and once again, wish you the best of luck. And
Thank you.
I'll probably see you around all the time, just because I'll still be in Florida. I'll still be running, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. You too. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good one.
Bye. Have a good day.